cause anything that's in my body that's not meant to be there, will cause my lupus to wrongly attack healthy tissues, because lupus is just the dumbest disease in the world. Hey guys, welcome to today's video, which is another lupus update. I realise I haven't done one of these in ages, and actually just very recently I've had a lot of like stuff going on and a lot of new appointments. I don't want this to be as long as most of these videos are, so I'm going to be talking quite quick. So the first thing is about my eyes. I've been having so many problems with my eyes since September. It all started with a rash. I had a rash that was like in this corner of this eye particularly, but here also and under here, and then this one had some round this way, but this corner was always the worst. And the rash came and it went, and then it came and it went, but it never fully went, if that makes sense. Like the real like redness, like I guess for someone that doesn't know me, the rash had gone. They'd probably think the rash had gone, but for me it left this like texture on my eyelid in this corner in particular, where now when I wear makeup even, I wonder if you can see, it almost looks like wrinkly, but that was the exact like pattern of the rash that's kind of been left behind and I guess scarred me. And at the same time I also had this problem with my lip, this same sort of rash on my lip here. And then all of these like bumps down my face here, my like jawline and going up here, again some on this side but particularly on this side. They weren't, I kept thinking they were spots and like I was having an acne breakout, but they weren't. They were like big hard lumps under my skin. And anyway, so I kept going to the doctors. Everyone kept ignoring me. My rheumatologist had re-referred me to my dermatologist, or had I re-referred myself? Basically my dermatologist is useless and awful and rude and just crap, and he discharged me last time when he'd told me, oh, try this stuff and if it doesn't work call me in a couple months. And then I called him and said it doesn't work and I'd been discharged. And then it took me a year to get an appointment again. Well, that appointment came back round, but first my eyes had been, the rash stuff had kind of gone, but then it kept coming up really swollen all around my eyelash line, or underneath and above, really swollen, and then feeling rashy rather than looking rashy, if that makes sense. But definitely not normal and not right. And then I keep getting this thing where my eyes are really watery, but they don't like stream down my face, and I also can't seem to blink the tears back. They just sit in my eye, so it's affecting my vision, and then it's also making my eyes extremely sore, particularly on the outer corners, because I'm having to constantly actually put something in my eye to soak up the tears, because it's the only way I can get rid of them. Otherwise I've got to walk around blind, because literally they just sit there. Even when I'm blinking hard, I've shown everyone I know this now, because I just feel like everyone thinks I'm crazy, but nothing comes out. I saw my GP and she gave me eye drops for allergic conjunctivitis. Although she didn't think that's what I had, she said that they should help with what I do have. Whatever that was, because I don't think she even ever told me what she thought it was. So I went and I took these eye drops, and then the problem wasn't going away and I was getting really frustrated. So I went and paid to see an ophthalmologist in Specsavers. Like certain Specsavers will have ophthalmologists in there, and they're different to an optician in that opticians deal with sight, whereas ophthalmologists deal with like eye health. So I saw him and he did the full eye test, and I said I'm not having any problems with my vision, and he was like, well yeah, because it's like perfect vision, because I read the whole thing and I passed all the tests like I knew I would, because my sight is fine other than when it becomes watery. Well, anyway, he had that thing really close up to my eye was opened, and obviously I was staring and your tears build up, and that was happening. And he was like, oh, you can blink, and I'd already been blinking and it wasn't going away, but I blinked, and he was like, oh my god, yeah, it's like not, like that should have run down your face. Obviously he wasn't like, oh my god, yeah. He was just like, yeah, I see what you mean, that those tears, like, you got too many tears, that should have gone down your face, and it didn't. And I was like, yes, I know. And he said, I think you've got blocked tear ducts. So back to my GP I go, because that's what he told me to do, because he said I can't prescribe you anything. Went and saw my GP, told her what he had said. She basically ignored it and just said, oh, try more of these drops, but also get fake teardrops, because I think you've got dry eyes. And I must have given her a look, because obviously what I'm actually describing is very wet eyes, and she's saying she thinks they're dry, but I guess what she said kind of makes sense. She said if you've got dry eyes, your eyes will overproduce tears to try and make them wet again. I don't know. Anyway, fine, I've been using those. It's been months that I've been using those. And then I saw my dermatologist, and I brought this all up to him, as well as all the stuff that I just mentioned about my skin, but I also was there to see him about hair loss and scalp problems. So I've been having real bad scalp problems for, again, since, like I said, all of this actually started in September, which I think was a knock-on effect from summer, if I'm honest. I feel like in summer I was so unwell that I probably wouldn't have even noticed any of these things, and then in September, when I started to feel a bit better, I then was clear-minded enough to notice all these things, and they weren't being masked by the unbearable pain of summer. Yeah, so I saw him and I said, you know, I'm getting sores on my scalp, and then my scalp is so itchy that then I'm itching my scalp and I'm catching the sores with my nails, and as you can imagine, that's awful and it's really painful, and it's my whole scalp feels bruised. It feels like it hurts too much to brush sometimes. It's very tender. Also, I like lose hair, and I have like a lot of bad dandruff, like from all of these things that are happening all in one. It's all like combined. Basically ignored the stuff about my lip and my eyes, and he instead just gave me a shampoo. He tried to give me the same shampoo he'd already given me, which was the whole reason I was back there, because it didn't work. So that was frustrating. Oh, he also, this was great, and I literally erased this from my memory in order to save my heart and my soul, and then my boyfriend remembered the other day because I was telling his mum about what happened with my eyes and everything, and Ben was like, oh, don't forget that, and I was like, oh my god, I had forgotten. So I actually was there with another dermatologist, but every dermatologist I see there calls in this guy, and then once I've had an appointment with him, but she called him in, and he came in, literally walked in, looked at me like this, because the door was here, I was sat over here, looked me up and down and went, diabetes, to the other doctor. Diabetes was all he said, implying that I have diabetes. Looking me up and down like she's fat, she's got to have diabetes. How rude can a person be? He didn't even say, he didn't walk in and go, oh, any family history of diabetes, or oh, do you have diabetes, to me. He didn't even address me. He literally looked me up and down, then looked at her and went, diabetes. I basically screamed, no, actually, no, I don't have diabetes, no, I'm not even anywhere near pre-diabetic, and no one in my family has it, so there. Fuming. Yeah, I basically shouted all of that like exactly like that, and he, yeah, then tried to give me the shampoo I'd already had, and I was like, no, I've already had that, it didn't work. And then he prescribed another new shampoo, and then a face wash and a face cream for all the lumps, and that was kind of it. He genuinely didn't mention my eyes or the rash on my mouth, whatever, so I left. Oh, and he also gave me a 3-month course of some very strong antibiotics, and kind of suggested that the underlying cause of all of this has been a bacterial infection. And infections are particularly bad for people with SLE, because anything that's in my body that's not meant to be there will cause my lupus to wrongly attack healthy tissues, because lupus is just the dumbest disease in the world. Anyway, so I've been on all that for months. I've been on all of it for a few months. Like, basically since the start of the year, actually. I think all of this kind of went down at the start of the year. So then, my eye problems are still bad, still happening. My rash on my lip has actually spread. It's now this whole half of my upper lip. My skin problem had gone down, but I don't know if you can see, again, recently a couple have come up, but they're not as bad as they were, but still. And my scalp problems, I don't think are any different, but it took me a long time to actually get the shampoo from my GP, because again, he always prescribes me stuff that he can't actually prescribe me. It does my nutting. So then I have to go to my GP to get her to give me the stuff, but she can't give me it until his letter comes through, which is months later. That's the way the system is. Anyway, so I don't want to judge the shampoo too harshly yet, but I don't think it's working. I actually think it's made dandruff worse, but anyway. So then I see my rheumatologist, which was last week. Yeah, last week. And I go in always preparing myself. Okay, who have I seen? What have I been put on? Because he often doesn't get all the information from all these other hospitals I go to, because they're in different boroughs, which means they can't send each other information, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but there you go. So I have to be the middleman and remember everything, and I walked in and yeah, he wanted to talk about the dermatology appointment. So I told him, and he said, oh, what are you on? What was the drug he gave you? And I named it, and he went, and I was like, oh my god, what? And he was like, well, I don't want to panic you, please don't panic, but that drug can actually cause drug-induced lupus in healthy patients. I think this is what I look like on the outside, even whilst I was there, but my insides are still burning up every time I talk about this, because I'm absolutely fucking fuming. And he said, so yeah, it can cause it in even healthy people, so it can make your lupus a lot worse and make you feel really ill. And I'm like, so this whole time when I have been going through bouts of thinking, why am I so ill? Like, the weather's been alright, like all my normal triggers aren't there, so why am I so ill? It could have been this bloody drug that this absolute fool who just wanted to concentrate on me being fat put me on, even though we were there to discuss my lupus symptoms. I can't even explain to you how angry it makes me. Oh. Yeah, so there's that. And then I told him that he hadn't said anything about my eyes, hadn't given me anything to help my eyes. And then I went through the whole story that I just told you about my GP, and then the ophthalmologist, and then my GP again, and what she'd put me on. And again, he went, what did your GP give you? And I named what she'd given me for my eyes. And again, he went, and I'm like, right, someone's about to die. Someone's about to lose their life, because what? And he was like, well, those eye drops, I know where she was going and what she was thinking, but if they don't work in the first couple of weeks of using them, then they won't work, then they'll actually make your eyes worse. Like, that's a well-known thing, that that they, if you're giving them for allergic conjunctivitis and that's what you have, it will clear it within 2 weeks, and if it doesn't, you're meant to stop taking them. And he was like, so how long have you been on them? And I was like, 2 months, maybe longer. And he was like, yeah, it's making your eyes worse. And I tell you what, it's been a week of me not using them, and my eyes are the best they've been in a long time. So, fuck you, doctors. I have to, like, be angry, because otherwise I will literally just cry and never stop crying about this whole situation. And he went, has anyone actually looked at your eyes? And I said, nope, other than the guy I paid. No one has. No one's actually even looked at my eyes. I've moved positions because my leg's gone dead. Hashtag lupus problems. Quite fitting for this video, really. So then he said, let's do the bare minimum that, like, everyone else should have done. The shade. the shade of it all, and actually check your eyes. And I was like, wow, that would be great. And I sat on the bed and like in the other end of his office, and he got this little kit out and he was like, I'm first going to test if you're producing too many or too little tears, because he was worried that I have Schrodinger's syndrome. It's like a thing to do with your eyes that a lot of people with lupus get. And I thought, and so did my boyfriend, who by the way absolutely hates anything with his eyes being done or anyone else's eyes being touched or anything. And I thought he was going to put, he got a little piece of paper and I thought he was going to put them like under my eye or like just rest in my eye. So he was like, look up, and I looked up and he literally put it under my eye. I think my boyfriend died on the spot. I think I literally saw his like soul leave his body. Because he hates it. And then he put the other one in, and then as you can imagine, it literally, because someone said to me, what did it feel like? And I was like you would imagine a bit of dry paper under your eye, feeling like it was awful. Every time I talk about it as well, I swear I get like the pain back in my eye. It actually did hurt. But he was like, I know it's uncomfortable, but it's only a couple of minutes, so just sit there. So I was like, okay, be somewhere else. I'm in Florida. Yep, I'm not here. And then he came back over and he pulled them out, and again my boyfriend died. And he looked at them and he said, right, so you're producing a fine amount of tears, it's fine, so it's not what I thought it was. He was like, but let's do what everyone else should have done and refer you to an ophthalmologist. And I was like, thank you. So, can you just be my doctor for everything? Can you just be my GP and just be my doctor for absolutely everything, because you're the only person who helps me. So yeah, now he's referred me to an ophthalmologist. Finally. And I actually have been looking online, just slipping off the bed, wait there, better. I've actually been going online and looking up ways to help blocked tear ducts at home, like is there anything I can do? And because to me, if anyone's going to know, it's the bloody ophthalmologist, like. And now I clearly don't trust what my GP or the dermatologist even thought it was, because they both have been giving me things that have actually been hurting me. And one of the things was to like massage around here where your tear ducts are, and then put warm wet flannels over them and then wipe away, because obviously if it's really wet it then gets like kind of just gross but crusty. I know no one likes the word crusty, but like wipe that away and it soothes it. And honestly, like I said, I've been doing that since last week when I saw the doctor, and my eyes are still not right at all and it's still driving me insane, but they're much better than they have been. So I said to the rheumatologist that I'm struggling to find a face sun cream that I like. A lot of them make me very sore, even the sensitive ones, and I'm working my way through finding one that I like for Florida, but it's been hard. And he kind of said, well, you could do a 2-in-1 and just get a wide brimmed hat because it will shade your face. Obviously sun cream is better, but it's going to make your like butterfly rash worse by using a sun cream. Then it's kind of picking the lesser of two evils. So now I need to find some wide brimmed hats that I like that go with my outfits. Yeah, he just kind of said that try your hardest to stay in the shade as much as possible, out of the sun as much as possible, wear hats, wear sun cream, cover up. I said about getting a like UV sun umbrella, and he said that's a really good idea, so I'm gonna get one of those. But yeah, I keep getting quite nervous about Florida for reasons to do with my lupus, and because of the last time we went I was so unwell. Like the holiday made me very unwell, so I am nervous. But I keep reminding myself I know a lot more now about my illness and the way it affects me and how to help myself than I did back then, but also that I wasn't on any medication for my lupus back then and now I am, so that's a big difference. So yeah, I'm trying to not worry, but it's hard. And another thing that's kind of cropped up that I wanted to put in this video is that I didn't realise like how much last summer had really had a toll on my feelings about the sun and about heat, and when it gets warm I really hate it and I'm actually really scared of it. This weekend it was very, very hot and sunny and bright, and anytime like I could feel the sun on my skin, which used to be like one of the joys of life. Everyone loves that after winter when you can finally feel the warmth of the sun on you. Every time I felt that I was panicking, and it wasn't like, oh, I've been out there for hours and then it's like I'm getting too hot. It was like as soon as it hit me I was panicking that it's going to make me ill. And it's hard because that's justified in the fact that people with lupus can have their symptoms worsened after as little as 3 minutes in the sun. So it's a very real thing, but I also need to live my life and I don't want to be scared of weather because I can't stop it and I can't control it and I can't live my life indoors constantly. I can do my best, but yeah, that's just something that I wanted to address because maybe other people are feeling that way, because I know juggling like the weather with lupus is just a very, very hard thing to do. So yeah, that's it for this video. Please give it a like if you did enjoy it and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I do a lot of videos around my health issues, mainly because they just help people. I get so many messages and I get to talk to so many people in similar situations, so it helps me too. Yeah, I hope you're having a lovely day. Stay safe in the sun if you are a loopy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!